Hello everybody, welcome back to another video sewn by Nikki. Today we are going to use more of those scraps that you have laying around. Okay, so we did keychains before. Now we're going to work on what I like to call either earbud cases or coin purses. Okay, these have a little snap hook right on the end of it. We use these same snap hooks in order to make keychains. You can use them for lanyards. If you go on to Amazon, you can actually buy them in bulk. I'm telling you my little secret. But instead of buying them from your local Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Joann's, but they're snap hooks. So you can just hook one onto these, and you can hook it inside of your bag, any pocketbooks or book bags that you have, you know, for kids, for yourself, anything. This way your earbuds are not getting tangled in the bottom of your bag. Okay, so again, we're going to use some scraps. All right, so what you're going to need for this project, get yourself a CD. Great, it's a CD, it works. Pick any old one. We need a zipper. Okay, your zipper, I believe this one is 7 inches. Anything longer than your actual project is good. Oh, that's 9 inches. You can buy these in bulk on Amazon as well. So you need a CD, zipper, the snap hook clasp. Grab yourself some outer fabric. Okay, I'm using some scraps from these sugar skulls. I have 2 pieces. Okay, one is going to be outer, one is going to be inner fabric. Okay, so outer. And we're going to use some also for the tab. Okay, then I have 2 pieces of felt. 2 pieces of felt, scraps. And then I have an inner fabric. These are scraps as well. You see this? This is all scraps. We're not going to use this part of it. We're going to use this part right here. Okay, but again, these are scraps. I use these for another project. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Oh, get yourself a pen as well, and some scissors, and let's get started. So the first thing we are going to do, you're going to put your CD down however you can on your fabric. The idea is to use as much of the fabric as you can, but also try to save some, because look at this. If I move this down here, I can do another one of these. So I can actually get 2 earbud cases, 2 of these, by using this fabric right here. Okay, so there are no particular measurements for it. It's just the size of a CD. All I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to trace the CD. Okay, I'm using a pen. Normally I would flip it over and mark on the inner side of the fabric, but you're not going to see this because we're going to sew around the edges, so it doesn't matter. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out that circle. I'm cutting it out. You can then either use the CD again to cut out the inner fabric. In this case, it'll be my black one. So you can either use the CD to cut it out, or what you can just do is use the fabric that you actually cut out in order to create the same size on your other fabrics. So I'm just going to put this on top of the felt, and I have the 2 pieces of felt together. Okay, this way I know I'm getting the same size. So I am cutting around, just using the sugar skulls, the outer fabric, as a template for the other circles that I'm cutting. Okay, this felt is going to go inside. It's going to be the lining inside. Okay, now we have that black piece of scrap fabric that I had, and I'm going to look for the widest part, and it's right there. So I'm just going to fold this over. I'm just going to make my ends meet. You can use whatever piece you have in whatever area you need to cut in. Okay, and I'm going to again use that same template. Look at that, just makes it. I'm just going to cut this here just so that I can lift it up easily and get it to the right size. Okay, I'm going to cut. I like to fold my fabric and cut two at the same time, because once you start doing these a lot, you'll realize that it just saves you time instead of cutting individually. So when you're first learning though, go ahead if you need to and separate the two. Okay, so we now have two pieces of the black cutout, which is going to be the inside fabric. It's going to be this portion of the fabric. Okay, so the sugar skulls for this project is going to be the outside. Okay, and then the black, solid black pieces are going to be the lining. This white felt is going in between these two pieces here. Okay, let's go ahead now, while we're thinking about it, and cut the tab portion, which is going to connect onto the snap hook. Again, there are no measurements for this, so I'm just taking the scrap portion of this same fabric. I'm just going to cut it in half because we only need half of it. What we're going to do, and again, the purpose is to show you that you can use all of the scraps that you have. Okay, so I'm just going to create a tab by folding in, same way we did the lanyard, the keychain pieces and the lanyards. I'm going to fold that in. I'm going to take this portion, I'm going to fold that into the middle so that these meet, and then I'm going to fold it one more time so that it creates a simple little tab. Okay, I'm going to just hit it super quickly with the iron just to flatten it out because it makes it easier to sew. So let's go ahead while we have this in our hands, and we're going to sew down both sides of this fabric. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to sew 2 lines straight down the side of the fabric. Close up those raw edges. Okay. Okay. Make sure you're using coordinating thread. And I'm leaving that in. I'm pivoting. This portion is not necessary. I just don't need to take out the fabric to sew it again. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do now, go ahead and set that to the side for right now. Okay, what we're going to do is get back your circle pieces. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to prepare these, layer these, get your outer fabric, your inner fabric, then get your lining fabric, stack them together. Do the same thing with both of them. So you have your outer fabric, the inner, well actually the felt, and then you have your inner lining fabric. See which one you like best, whichever fabric you like best when it comes to the pattern layout, because what we're going to do now is we're going to put the zipper, connect the zipper. So if you feel as though that you can get a better design with one piece rather than the other, to make sure you have a whole face, in this case for the sugar skull, a whole pattern piece to the left or right of the zipper, decide that. And then what we're going, decide which one you want to use for the top. The other portion will be for the bottom. Okay, in this case, I'm deciding I'm going to cut this one right here. So to make sure that I get two sides even on the zipper, all I'm going to do is fold this in half. Okay, so it's folded in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. That's all. All I did was fold it in half and cut. So now I have two separate pieces. So far, if you can follow through with this, this will be the outside. This will be the left side. Your zipper is going to go in the middle. And this is going to be the right side. So that's what we have so far. That's what we have. Okay, so let's get started. Let's put the, take the left portion. We're going to connect the zipper. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to put lining piece down. Oh, let me just straighten this edge right here. Okay, so lining piece. Okay, when you have your lining, if you have a solid or a pattern, it doesn't matter. You want to put pretty side face up. Okay, if you have it printed. Go ahead and take your zipper, and what you want to do is line up that zipper edge with the edge of your fabric. Okay, raw edges of the zipper with the raw edge of the lining fabric. Go ahead and pick up both parts of your outer fabric and your felt. Turn it around so that the pretty side, your good side of your pattern piece, is facing the good side of your inner lining. Okay, so pretty side, you see that? Sugar skulls is going face down, and I am lining up those raw edges. I'm lining up those edges together so that we have sandwiched in here, we have the inner lining, we have the zipper, and we have the sugar skulls. You see how my zipper is a little bit bigger? This is a 9-inch zipper because I do other things with these zippers, but it's always better to have a longer zipper than the actual project that you're working on. Okay, because this way you can sew over these zippers. If you get the nylon ones, you can sew right over them, and it's easier to cut. Make sure that zipper pull is at the end. Okay, what we're going to do, if you need to, go ahead and switch the foot on your machine to your zipper foot. You can check on a different video if you do not know how to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to leave my same zigzag foot on, my J foot. I'm leaving that on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew close down to the zipper because I've already figured out how to do this with years of practice. I'm just going to sew close down my edge, and I'll show you what I mean when we put it underneath the machine. I don't think I've ever used my zipper foot, but when you're first starting out, if you need to, go ahead and switch that foot. Okay, so here I am. My edges are lined up together. Okay. Oh, you know what? For the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you how to pin it. I don't pin. So go ahead and pin. I like to pin facing out when I'm teaching because this way it doesn't get snagged when you're trying to sew up and down, but also because it's easier for you to pull out when you need to. Okay, so I'm just going to pin the bottom of this, okay, to keep that zipper stuck in there for you, to keep it sandwiched in there. And again, we're just making sure that our raw edges stays lined up together. Okay, so I'm putting that in there. All right, here we go. All I'm doing, and this is my zigzag foot, if you notice, my J foot. Okay, I haven't changed anything. If you notice, if you do want to use your zigzag foot, the edge of my foot is lined up with the teeth of the zipper. I also know that I'm at the right amount of, I have the right amount of space here because I use this guide marker here to line up with the raw edges of everything that I do put a zipper on when I'm sewing tote or anything, okay? So I'm just going to keep the edge of my foot lined up with my zipper all the way down, okay? All right, go ahead and backstitch, and I'm sewing on 3.0 for my stitches. Backstitch, and again I'm looking at this guide marker right there because I can see that my fabric here is lined up right underneath that point, okay? But also my foot is riding right along this part of my zipper, okay? Okay, I'm going to remove the pin, and I'm going to remove this one as well. And I can see, you see this here? You can see, check your zipper ever so often. You want to make sure it's still in there so you don't have a hole. Okay. I can see I'm still riding right along the zipper. I can see it there. I can feel it as well. Okay, and now I'm back stitching. Okay, and I'm going to remove it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is open this up. So you should have what looks like this. Don't worry, it's not going to look pretty at first, okay? Don't worry, you will not see this when we're done. Things slide, they move, okay? So now, if you need to, what I recommend is get your iron, okay? Flatten this down a bit. It will help you sew it. Remember, the iron is your best friend when you're sewing, when you're first learning. Okay, and what we're going to do, we are going to sew a really close stitch to the edge, top stitching here, because what it does is that it helps so that the fabric doesn't snag in the zipper inside. So we're going to sew a top stitch right down close to the edge. Okay, so look at this. Okay, it's going right underneath. Okay, I'm sewing close to the edge all the way down, back stitching. Okay, now if you notice, I can imagine with my eyes where the line is. I'm just going close to the edge, that's all. And don't forget to backstitch. We always want to backstitch when you're starting or ending. You see that? Look at that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Okay, so go ahead and grab that other half. Obviously, your pattern will be the same way, okay, because this is the other half of the circle. I'm just going to straighten up my, okay, straighten up my portion. Pretty side of your lining if it has decorations on it or patterns. Pretty side facing up. You're going to grab that zipper. You're going to make pretend this fabric here is not even there. We just want the zipper portion. Okay, so ignore that. Okay, we're following the same steps that we started with when you're doing a zipper. Okay, get that zipper. Okay, what you want now is you want this zipper to be facing the opposite way. Okay, so face up, zipper face up. Here's the trick. You want to make sure that your circle on the bottom, is going to line up with this circle here. Okay, so you see this? We want to make sure that this tip is going to measure up with that tip. Okay, all right. So I can see on this side that it will line up here. It's going to make a circle. I can see it when it's open. Okay, so we have inner fabric, zipper, and now we're going to put the other piece of the sugar skull fabric face down, turn it over. Okay, so we have our felt and then the outer fabric. I'm putting it face down, but we want to make sure that again it's lined up with the zipper. Okay, So remember, you're making pretend this piece on the bottom, you're making sure that you're making pretend this piece doesn't even exist. You're following the same steps that we did for the other side of the zipper. Okay, we're only concerned with the raw edges. So when this opens like this, it's going to look like that. It's going to look like a complete circle. Okay, all right, so now we're going to pin it. Make sure that these stay together, lined up together. Okay, pin it in place. And I'm going to pin this one here just so you can see me remove it, and back stitch, sew down again. Okay, if you didn't change your foot, remember, line up your foot, your zigzag foot, so that it stays close to your zipper right there, right along the side of it. But if you need to change your foot, go ahead and change and put on your zipper foot. I'm back stitching. Okay, and now I'm going to remove that pin. Okay, removing the pin. Okay, see, so now what we're going to do, we're going to open up that portion there, open up this portion. Okay, and now what we're going to do, oh, let me just sew this, hold on, this moved, I'm going to sew it back on, hold on, I didn't back stitch the top of it, sorry guys, I didn't back stitch to, and it didn't catch. Okay. Got it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is open this up, same way we did before. We're going to open it up, open that up, and we want to put a top stitch, just like we did on the left side. We want to do this on the right side, but I'm just going to flatten it down a little bit. I'm going to pull it out a little bit, flatten it a little bit. I'm going to get the iron, press it down. The good thing about these zippers as well is you can iron them. So when you get them in the pack, sometimes they may be folded, but you can iron these zippers as well. That's why the nylon ones are the best. Okay, and I'm going to sew that top stitch again. I'm getting close by the edge. Putting a top stitch makes it look really professional. And I've already learned how to judge when I'm close by this line here. So you can just eyeball it. Okay. Okay. We're almost done. Okay. So what we have is this. You will not see this when we're done. Okay. What we have on this side looks like this. Okay. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take your outer pieces. Okay, so you have your sugar skull, we have the inner, and we have the liner. Okay, I'm going to put face down. Make sure look at the sugar skulls. This is really important. Okay, I messed up on this a few times when I first started sewing a few years ago. You want to make sure that your pattern pieces are going the same way. The top of the head, the top of the head. You want to make sure that each piece is going the same way. You do not want it looking like this. Whether you're doing flowers, anchors, doesn't matter. Okay, we don't want to go like this and sew it. You want to make sure that your pattern pieces are facing the same way. See, top of the head, chin, top of the head, chin. Okay, now put them together. Make a sandwich, or almost like a sandwich. Now this is very important, even when you're doing tote bags or anything like that. Zipper pull. What you want to do is pull that zipper down. Okay, get it to the middle. You need it in the middle because you need to be able to turn this. Okay, so get it to the middle. Put your piece back on. Okay, and what I'm going to do, what we're going to do is we're going to pin this. Okay. We're going to pin this so that this stays together. I have another secret that I'm going to show you right now as well. Okay. Okay. And now we want to pin both sides of this. It helps it stay together. Do not pin towards the edge because we're going to be sewing around it. Okay, so this is what we have right now. Okay, that's what we have right now. Okay, all right, so pick any point on the circle. Your zipper pull needs to be inside of here because you need to, this is your last opportunity if you haven't flipped it. You need to be able to turn it inside out. Okay, I am going to line up the outside of my foot. Use those guide markers at the edge of your fabric. I'm using my second one. I'm going to backstitch and I'm going to start sewing around what I call a basting stitch, and I'll show you why when we're done with this. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm overlapping my zipper a tiny bit. You see that? Okay, take your time, go slowly, go around. Don't worry that you're sewing a circle. All you're doing is using the guide markers to stay on the edge of your fabric. Over the zipper, I tend to backstitch and then go forward again just to reinforce the zipper. Okay, I'm going around. Take your time going around your circle. Going around, I'm almost done. Getting back to the tab. Oh, backstitch. Okay, I almost forgot something. I'm glad I just remembered it. Go ahead and get that tab that you have. Okay, the tab that we started in the very beginning. Okay, take your snap hook. Put the tabbed fabric through the snap hook. I already know I'm going to cut this because I'd like it a little shorter. Okay, now what you're going to do is take this portion, the snap hook portion. I lifted up my foot. I'm sliding this in between the two pretty fabrics. You see that? The two pretty fabrics there? You want it to be at the butt of the zipper, the butt part of the zipper. Okay, so slide it inside. Okay. All right. And when it's inside, now what I'm going to do is put the foot down and I'm going to continue. I like to put it on top of the zipper, but to be honest, I just already started sewing and I forgot to put the tab in. So, but I'm going to show you when I'm done with this. I'm going around and I'm almost back at the beginning here. I'm just reinforcing it. Okay, I'm going over this front part of the zipper again because I like to reinforce the zipper a few times. Okay, don't worry about this not looking pretty. Okay, let's take out the pins. Okay, the tab, I usually like to put it right on top of the zipper, but again, I forgot. So you can just slide yours over. So go ahead and cut off your zipper. Cut off a portion. Cut off some of those outer layers that you just sewed. Okay, we're not looking for a perfect circle. That's not what we're looking for. What we did was we just created what we call a based stitch because we wanted to hold the materials together while we actually do another stitching around it. Okay, so what you're going to do now, you're going to change your machine to a zigzag stitch. I'm changing mine to number 4 and I'm putting it at 2.0. You can pick any point around your circle. Okay, what we want to do now is just put a zigzag stitch around the edging on the outside of your line. Okay, just a zigzag stitch. Okay. What this does is you're going to constantly be opening and closing this, so it just reinforces the stitching to hold the fabrics together. If you've ever purchased anything from the store and you realize, oh my goodness, that has a hole already, well, it's because they didn't do extra stitching. Okay, and I'm back at the beginning, and all I'm going to do now is remove it. You don't have to back stitch with the zigzag stitching. Okay, and now I'm going to just cut along on the outside of that zigzag stitching. This is the inside. No one's going to be looking at this. Okay, the zigzag is just to reinforce it. Cut it as close as you can without cutting your stitching. Okay, guess what? You're done. So if you didn't know how to do a zipper before, you know how to do a zipper now, and you actually have a completed case. So pull that zipper down, turn it inside out. Well, right side out, I should say. And you now have a completed earbud case. See that? That's it. Remember, this would have been over a little bit more, but I forgot to put the tab in. So just put it right on top of your zipper when you do it, and then it will be fine. Okay, so that's all. That's another project that you can do with scraps. So to hold your coins and your earbud cases, your earbuds and coins. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. Okay, that's all for now. I will see you for the next video. We'll figure out something else to do with your scraps. Okay? All right, guys, that's all. Thanks for watching.